you want to start looking at social media. And reason why I say social, the
Sorry.
reason why I say social media is because what happens with social media, and for me, this has been a great place. Like I said, the director that I'm working with now, that we're going to be shooting in October, I met him through social media, met him through Instagram. So you can connect with producers and directors and fellow actors on social media. I follow them, connect with them, reach out to them, look at what they're doing, because most of them have a link to their stuff. And I look at what, if I like their project and I like what they're doing, then I connect with them, send them a message, and start building a relationship, building rapport with them. And the indie producers are notorious for looking at how many followers you have. Because if you think like a producer, you say, okay, if I'm a producer and I'm producing a project, if someone has 1,000 followers and they're a good actor, it's like, okay, yeah, you're a good actor. But then someone has, 100,000 followers or 200,000 followers. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go with this person, and the reason why I go with this person is because this person puts it on their social media. They have 200,000 followers. That's gonna actually probably come and check out my page and purchase my movie. You know, go check out my movie. Go watch my movies. Versus someone that has 1,000 followers, even though they might be a better actor. And that, I say, is only the indie producers that are doing that. Don't get me wrong. When it comes down to people that are in Hollywood and they're doing big budget production, they do not care about how much social media following you have. A lot of people think that that's true. It's not true. They do not care about how much social media following you have. But what they care about is that you are able to deliver and tell the story. So you get to reach decision makers on social media also. That's been my case, and I guarantee you that if you start doing that, you start reaching different people that you can actually that will actually make decisions and can give you an opportunity. So in the way that you're doing it on social media, you want to create what's called true posts. And true posts is basically it's a compelling post that helps you gain followers and likes. Because I'm not saying to go buy followers, go pay for likes or anything like that. I don't believe in that. I believe in organically growing your following. Because if you organically grow your following, once you reach 100,000, 200,000, and so on and so more, these are people that are actually interested in what you want, and because of that, they're going to stay around, especially if you consistently deliver what you've promised in the very beginning when they were introduced to your social media. So um, it also helps you. It pulls at the heartstrings of the audience, authentically communicates your message, whatever the and when I talk about your message, I'm talking about the energy that you bring. And then so this is the framework for a true post. Basically, the true post is it creates. It has a hook, attention getting headline, or a story opener. It pulls the reader in automatically, ignites pain, pleasure, or both. It agitates pain from at point A, or stack on the pleasure that's going on, as a result at point B. Describe your solutions specifically related to the hook and pain, pleasure content of your post. It has a call to action, which is hey, DM me for this, or click like if you agree with this, and so on. It just has an action that one action, one call to action. You don't want to put like three, because then it confuses people. You want to give them one specific choice. Say, hey, do this. Either click the like or comment below or something like that. Because right now, in order for more people to see your posts, especially like with something like Instagram, is you've got to have interaction happening. People are going to be liking, people are going to be commenting in order for Facebook, which is the controller, let people start seeing more people start seeing your posts. Okay, so the two post structure is basically the T stands for you teach or you touch them, move an audience from point A to point B. It's relevant, the audience can benefit from it. It means it's relevant to you. It's important to you, whatever it is that you're doing, so you're vulnerable. When you do this, it's unique, meaning that it's hard to duplicate. If you're skydiving, there's not a lot of people that skydiving. That's just an example. If I'm taking a video with, you know, a certain celebrity or somebody like that, if I'm sitting with Snoop and we're having a conversation, not everyone's gonna be able to duplicate that. And that's what I mean. That you, every time you look at your post, you got to make sure that it has some uniqueness that's hard to duplicate. Um, Entertaining or exciting, it amuses or moves your audience. And what I mean by that is like, I mean, the most liked posts that I've noticed is like the funny ones when people put funny, they put in these funny posts. It People laugh. They if you can amuse someone, they're gonna keep coming back. And the thing is it doesn't have to do all of them. You can just choose one of those things that you want to do. So like today you want to teach them about something, so you go ahead and teach them about something, and, you know, something that's relevant that you want to speak to your tribe about. So you could talk to your tribe because it's important to you and it's important to them. So the way you look at this is you have a behind the scene plus sharing. I'm going to give you different examples of types of posts that you can do. You have a behind the scene plus sharing a core value, and I'll give you an example of that. You want to be vulnerable. So behind the scene, as an actor, the behind the scene is you could show yourself on set, or you could show yourself you're in a room where you're getting ready to do a self tape. You show yourself doing that, and then you share a core value with that, being vulnerable. You know, maybe I'm not feeling it at that moment, or I'm scared about doing this, or whatever it is that you want to share at that moment, whatever's going with you on. I find that the more honest that you are with when it comes to these, the more relatable it is to people because you're being authentic and vulnerable. So there's also an empowering message, like for example, a quote or anything like that's empowering, and then sharing a core value. And you could do a struggle bus and then a resolution. For example, most actors have different struggles. We were just talking about the struggles earlier. An actor who's feeling that they can't do it anymore, they're at their lowest point, and they're like, "Oh, you know what? This is so much. I don't feel I can act." And if you share that, and then how you resolved it, people love seeing that. I mean, everyone can relate to you having a struggle and then resolving it. Um, and then you want to celebrate your wins. You want to flex on them. You know, just show them like, hey, you know, I just got my first my first audition for the year, or I just got my first commercial for the year. Whatever it is, you post that out there and announce it and be proud of it. Some people some people talk about they don't want to jinx it and things like that. You want to share it and celebrate because as you celebrate it, you give other people permission to celebrate theirs too, and they're gonna love you for that. Also, you want to show social proof. Like I said, you know, saying if I'm hanging out with Snoop and I show that I'm hanging out with Snoop, it automatically elevates me to a different status because you want to make sure that what you want to do is have your audience looking at you for certain things, and they will, as you grow, you're showing that you're growing, and by showing the social proof that you're growing, we're more like, yeah, I know her when she first started, and I knew her when she was way down here. Now look at where she's at now. Gives them permission to say, hey, maybe I can do the same thing. There's so many people that send me messages talking about they're inspired by stuff that I'm doing. They post, and I'm like, you know, and I get that. I understand where it's coming from. And with that said, is you want to do that so that way you keep yourself pushing yourself and holding yourself accountable, but also inspiring others. Because if you inspire others, they're definitely going to keep on coming in and checking out your posts. And again, like I said, behind the scene and sharing with your tribe. What I mean by your tribe, I mean actors, fellow actors. You want to talk to fellow actors because we all have these struggles. We all have these things that we go through. So you start talking with them, sharing with them, you got that tribe that can relate to you. And it all depends with these posts, these 6 posts. It all depends on how you feel that day. But you want to start looking at these posts, and on part of your assignment today is going to be after this. You want to write one of each post. So you want to write 6 different posts for your next social media post. You know, schedule. So this is me flexing on them. This is on Instagram, and it said, I did it. Had my first commercial this year. Me to myself in my apartment as I watched the Fruity Bites commercial, and that was 2 days ago. And I did it. I had accomplished exactly what I said I would do. And when it happened, I didn't throw a party or anything like that, because that's me. I don't celebrate. When I do stuff, I don't celebrate. But I think about, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and celebrate. So it's just me being totally honest in this. But I'm talking, and how many actors can relate to this? I mean, I put it on when I took this picture. It had 218 posts. I mean, likes. Now it has way more than that. Here's another one. Behind the scene, core value. I had someone. I had did this, didn't even see it, and then a friend of mine's, a few friends actually sent it to me. They sent it to me on. Um, they texted to me. Some sent it to me on Facebook. Others sent it to me on Instagram. And they were saying, "Hey, I just saw this," and that's why it's a picture from a picture. And I was like, "It's not perfect. It's a picture sent to me by a friend." Exactly, just being totally honest in this. That if you're honest and authentic, people are going to connect with you. And 260 likes at that point. I think now it's at like 400 or something like that. When I took this picture or when I screenshot it. There's another one. This one is behind the scene talking to my tribes. You know, the feeling of wanting something so badly, you self-sabotage and you get in your own way. Raise hands. The past couple of weeks, I've been working on, my upcoming boot camp that I was talking about. But same thing. I've been working on the boot camp, but it's talking to my tribe, talking to the actors. Actors all feel this. We all self-sabotage. You know, we don't get away from this. We self-sabotage and then we pick ourselves back up and keep it moving. And it's that struggle we're constantly in that battle. We want to get into the point where we're at flow.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go into brag bank right now. So the brag bank is, let me ask you, what have you accomplished that you are proud of?
In general, or
Yeah, just go ahead and start right now. Everything that you're proud of, you can list that right now. You could say whatever it is. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be small. It just has to be stuff that makes you proud. Because the thing is, you want to get it all out of your head and get it out on paper, so that way you start noticing what it is. And it's a brag bank because this is what you're going to use. For example, I always tell actors, a lot of actors, when I talk to them, I say, I pride myself on landing network auditions without having an agent or a manager. Because at one point, I didn't believe that was possible. I believe that the only thing you can do is you have to get an agent or a manager so they can submit you so you can get these auditions, and quickly found out that that's not 100% true. And then also because we don't own up to certain things, or we don't try to be proud. We sometimes and it might just be me, but sometimes I diminish certain things that I do, and some people are like, oh man, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. So what could you be proud of? Want to share a couple?
um, well, one was I was a part of the Broadway Dream Foundation a couple of years ago, which was like my first audition for classes. So it's all of Broadway, like a lot of their directors and playwrights. Um, they were here in Philadelphia, and it was like a acting intensive for a couple of days. So I auditioned and I made it in. So that was a real pick me up, because I hadn't been doing much. So even though it was all ages and I was probably one of the oldest people there, and some of those little kids, they were just like, oh my goodness. I'm like, oh my God, these kids are just awesome, you know, but I was proud that I made it in, and that was good. That was a good one for me. Um, Another was a movie or play that never got off the ground, but I was so terrified of learning monologues that I learned two for this project that never came to fruition, but I was able to at least get my two scenes recorded. So that made me feel really good because I used to shy away from monologues. I thought, you know, I was afraid of them. I thought I couldn't learn them. So.
And this is something that's something that you could share because there's a lot of actors like that. I mean, the actor that I was talking to yesterday, that I told you I was talking to on the phone, he was sharing that with me. Like, oh, you know, I have a problem. I don't really have a scene. I don't have, and I get that. And that's when an actor, because the thing is, you have to definitely work on certain projects, I mean, certain scenes and monologues, and make sure you have that in the back of your pocket because they're going to ask you. Go for an audition. Not 100% times they're gonna ask you that. I mean, my experience is when my agent send me in for something, I'm going specifically for whatever they're asking me, and I have not been asked to do a monologue for us. Doesn't mean that they're not gonna ask you. I mean, at most of the independent projects I go in for, I went in for one, I did the scene, they loved it, and then they was like, oh, you have a monologue for us, and I had to pull out a monologue like that. You know, and I didn't get cast in that project, and I believe that the reason I didn't get cast because my monologue, they threw me off for a loop because I didn't expect them to ask me for that since I had sides and I had already been just going in for sides. And when they threw me for that monologue, I was like, oh, whoa! It took me a moment to try to drop in, and I got cut off in the middle of my monologue, and I was like, okay, so I didn't get cast for it, which is fine. I mean, we're not gonna get cast for everything, but it helped me to remember was that I better make sure that I have a monologue when I'm getting ready to go do an audition, but making sure that I prepare that way before I even ever get an audition where they just say, hey, give us a monologue. You know, because as an actor, you should be able to pull it right out. So, so another thing is, what are people saying about you on social media? And I give you an example. This guy right here, he watched my movie Convicted, and then all of a sudden he said it's better than Belly 2 and State Property. I didn't watch either one of those movies, but I can always say if I wanted to use this as a brag bank as a kid, it's better than State Property and Belly 2.
I didn't know there was a Belly 2.
I didn't know either, but I didn't watch. I watched Belly 1. I wouldn't have watched Belly 2, but so I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but what it is that you want to look at what people are saying about you on certain things like that, and then take that, and those are something that you can use as a brag bank. Like I told you the other one on my resume, which states that I'm the dependable actor. Right off the bat is I can do that because of the simple fact that someone else said it. I didn't say it, and it's always better when someone else says something about you. Yeah. So we're gonna go into Instagram optimization. So once you figured out your energy, you figure out everything, the message you want to say, then you got to start conveying it on the different platforms. So Instagram for me has been one of the best places to connect with directors and producers and other actors. And a lot of them was on the independent level. I'm starting to connect with some that's on another level now, but a lot of them on social media on Instagram has been independent ones, and it's great because I love doing independent projects. So I connect with them and build with them. So it has a clickable link. Still on one of the youngest social media platforms out there, and it's growing like crazy. It can you can message anyone, and the thing what I love about it is because I'm always looking at did they read the message, so I don't have to. It lets you know if they read it or not, which is great because I'm saying when I send it, at least they've seen it. I know they've sent it, So if they don't message me back, okay, well, they're not interested. Okay, cool. I'll keep it moving. And it's rapidly going, and basically it's all a buzz. It still is, even though some people, I think it's a little bit older, but some people still think it's like, it's still one of the youngest ones that's grown. So on any platform, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, or anything like that, basically it needs to convey who you are, what you do, and what kind of posts for people to expect about you. And you do that by just going in and optimizing them properly. And then when you put the post, that's what you're training them to see. And then, so the first thing you want to do is you want to establish yourself as an authority. And the reason why you want to establish yourself as an authority, because authorities, I mean, like Oprah, she don't sell. Anything that has Oprah's, I mean, she got a movie coming out pretty soon. I forget the name of the movie, but I saw it. I'm like, it looked really good. And I'm like, oh, and it's by Oprah. I'm like, of course I want to watch it because Oprah, she's known for making good projects. Mm-hmm. And, so anything she recommends, people automatically going to go check out. So you want to establish yourself as an authority. So your bio, what I'm saying, before I go into that, all your social media has what I call real estate. So the first thing on your Instagram is your profile. Then you got your name and the title. So if you notice, you look at my headshots up there for my profile picture, and it's got my name and it says actor plus business. And that's because I'm into both of them. On this, my bio goes, it says actor / entrepreneur obsessed with the film biz, want to learn how to become a film working actor, click on the link. So it automatically gives them an opportunity to go ahead and click that. So it established me as an authority as an actor. But if you look at this, to me, right now, knowing what I know, I say, okay, you know what? That's not a good bio. Now I'll tell you why. But anyway, your bio is supposed to be short. It's a clickable link. You can use hashtags, which you see I have hashtags on there. And then you have the IG stories. The IG stories is really great. And then you got the highlights, which I consider the highlights the prime real estate. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. So if we're looking at the profile, what you want to do is you want to have action shots, commercial shots, shots of you on set, headshots. You want to basically keep it active. And what I suggest is you actually change it once a week. So your name or the title, you have your name plus what you do, and then or the energy you bring, or you want to express your personality. So you get to choose which one of these you want to put in there. And then, so example, your name plus the aspiring actor, something that conveys your energy. Your bio needs to establish your authority. So this is the bio that I currently use, and I love this bio. And the reason why, because it says automatically lead in the Amazon Prime Convicted, automatically establishes me as a lead actor. And when someone see it, they can go look up Convicted and check it out. I wasn't able to link Convicted to that. And then I go, want to learn how to become a working actor? Click the link. So it established me as authority, it conveys what I do, and it has a call to action. Click the link to start. And so you can also use it because as an actor, see, I'm using it because of what I'm doing with the business, but as an actor, you can use it to launch, to announce launches of certain things. Like you have a movie that's coming out, or you have a project that you're working on. You want to have that on there, and you want to keep it simple and to the point. The clickable link, you can have it go to your website. You can have it go to your reel. You can have it go to your IMDb. You can link it to a project that you're streaming right now. For example, for a while I had it linked to it would go right to Amazon Prime to my film. So if someone wanted, they can just click and check out the film. And you can also use what's called linktree.ee. So it's linktr.ee. And that right there, when you do that, it's great when you connect it with your Instagram, because when you connect with your Instagram now, you have one link that takes them to other links. So if you have different projects you're working on, you can always take them to that. It's great for that if you're an actor or you're an influencer and you want to take them to different links. My frame of thought with this is that it's great if I'm just doing it as an actor. I can go and show different projects or show my reel. Then I have them connected to my IMDb or work that I'm working on right now, connected to my website, because that one link can actually take them to a page that basically stays on Instagram, but they can click on different stuff that would take them to where I want to show them. Now, with that said, I'm a firm believer in what I'm doing right now, as one link to me is better. As far as, like, let's say I want to send them to my reel, I'm sending them strictly to my reel. The choice is yours on what you decide. When I use Linktree, I still have a Linktree account. I love it. I love Linktree. And I use it, but right now, because of what I'm doing, I want to make sure that people go strictly to where I'm sending them and nowhere else. And that's why I have it going to one link. And also, you want to use bit.ly.com to shrink the link, because sometimes these links are so big that they don't fit, and you want to shrink it, because that way it gives you room to have more on your profile, because you're going to have to, it's only a certain amount of words you're going to use. So you got to think on how to actually establish yourself as an authority figure right away, and have a call to action in the least words possible. So you're gonna have to play with this for a while to get it to where you want it. And I played with it for a while before I got it to where I want it. So you also, for your stories, you want to add value. You want to show your work. You want stories of you on set, behind the scenes, celebrate wins. Like, if you go to my stories, most of the time I'll put stories where I put a quote, and it's usually a quote of something that I'm feeling that day. And for me, that's adding value to people, because before I used to have a lot of quotes on my Instagram, and people would always send me messages saying, "Hey, I love what you're doing. I love what you're saying. It just inspired me," and so on. They would always send me messages about that. Now, what they do is they'll respond to the stories, and that gives an interaction between me and the people that follow me. So I respond back. I try to respond back to everyone. Eventually, it's probably going to get to the point where I can't do that, but I try to respond to everyone that sends me a message. And then you want to celebrate your wins. And again, highlights is the prime real estate. Like I said, only put your finished projects on there. Your behind the scene on there. You want to show your best clips, and the reason why is because the highlights stay there longer. When someone comes to your site, to your page, basically they're going to be clicking on those to check out stuff, and you want them to see the best of you before they see anything else. You want to put your best foot forward, basically. So if you go to mine, you'll see I have different clips from the movie Convicted, because to me right now that's the best work that I have out there. I know there's going to be way more than that, but right now that's the best work that I have out there, as the best clips that I have. So I'm putting those in. So when people come in, they see it and they establish me as an actor. For example, this director, he saw my highlights, and then he went and watched the movie, and then he reached out to me and offered me a role. And it wouldn't have happened if I didn't have my Instagram set up the way that I have it set up. And also, what you want to do is, on these highlights, let them end with a cliffhanger. Because if they end with a cliffhanger, it keeps them wanting to watch more. Because the highlights, it goes right one to the next to the next. And if it's not leaving them with a cliffhanger and leaving them wanting more, they're gonna stop. Again, so your post suggestions, true posts. You want to post 2 posts. Post 1 picture per day on your feed, at the most, especially on Instagram. You want to change the profile picture weekly, and it's just to basically to keep it active, because when you change it, people notice that you've changed it. They go and go look at it. It keeps them engaged. Post a new story at least 3 times a week, and once every 5 hours at the most, because the stories, the stories will stay there for 24 hours. So I always suggest at least once every 3 times a week, so that way they don't feel bombarded. Only highlight stories that shows you at your best. The Facebook optimization. So with Facebook, do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah.
Okay, so with Facebook, you want to make sure that with your page, you got some real estate here. I mean, some really great real estate on Facebook. You got the cover section. You got your profile photo. You have the pin section. You have the about section. You have your story section. And so your basically your cover section, you want to use videos because it's so good. When they came out and they started using videos, I was like, this is great. So boom, I put my reel up there. I put a clip right now is a clip of a scene from the movie up there. And what's great about it is that if someone clicks on it, I can also add a link to it. So I have the link that goes from there. They can click and go watch my movie. So if that clip grabs them, boom, it takes them to that. You want to do that. You want to put photos in there that you know, add photos. Like let's say you have a project you did, and let's a play or anything that's coming out that's getting ready to happen. You put it up there, and what happens is as soon as you change it, what I love about Facebook is as soon as you change it, it lets people know that you've changed it. So it goes out and let people know that you changed it. And what happens is they come out and start to look at it. You know, and not everyone's going to click on it, but some people are going to click on it. When they click on it, if you have a good true post on there, and you have a call to action, it's the real estate that's going to send them to wherever you want to send them.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that red arrow shows you what the cover section is. Because people don't know what that is. The profile picture, you can put a tasty post with it, with a call to action. You can add another link. So if you go on my Facebook, I have links to several links on different things that take people to different locations. So whichever one they can click on, it'll take them somewhere else. And if you have multiple works and you have multiple links that you want to send them to, you can put it on there because then you can start using Facebook. With Facebook, yes, you can build a fan base on there, but what I would say is you want to take them out of there as quickly as possible, take them to a website or somewhere where you can actually collect their information because I'll give you an example. Kevin Hart is really good at this. Tyler Perry is really good at this. Tyler Perry, you know, you get involved with Tyler Perry, you get on his mailing list, and when he has a movie coming out, he sends out an email blast to let everyone know it's coming out, so he gets a good amount of people to go watch the movie. Mm-hmm. Same thing. We're doing it on a smaller scale, but you want to build that habit now. So you can link to your work, link to your IMDb, you can link to your website. Again, another real estate section is the pin section. I have this tasty post on there. I had it there for a while, and you want to pin the post that's actually, you want to have a true post. You want to have a call to action. You want to change it monthly, and what you want to do is you want to look at the post that's getting the most engagement, and you want to pin that. And you want each month you want to have a different theme. You want to link to. You want to also link it to your work. And pin to production, top producing posts, like I just already said that to you. The about section, I love the about section. It's a mini bio of you. So it's a mini spot where you can actually use your brag bank. You can post a link there to your IMDb page in there. You can put in any awards that you have gotten. And this is you building yourself up or establishing yourself or positioning yourself as an actor. Because you're starting to get these things, and as you start getting it, you start building it and putting it on there. And so when people come to your Facebook, they see that. Mm-hmm. And you can put in our story section. So you have a story section, which is great. And for me, I say, welcome to my world. And I just give them, I give them my bio. I have a cute picture with this little girl that I took a picture of. I did some modeling with. So you want to tell your story with the call to action. And what's great about this one is in that section, you can put multiple links. And that's what I love about that, because with Convicted, you can't see it on this picture, but with Convicted, I have a link going straight to what where the movie is. The entrepreneur stuff, I have a link going to my business. So you can link it to, I have fourth quarter on there. And I believe I have the link to fourth quarter, which is another movie that I did. So you can put multiple links on there, which is great. Twitter optimization. For your Twitter, What I love about Facebook before I move on with Twitter is that with Facebook, you can actually use it. I use Facebook just for my fans. What I use Instagram for is to connect with actors, connect with producers, connect with directors. What I use Facebook for is just to build a fan base,
Mm.
and then eventually move them off to somewhere else. Um, with Twitter, you can post up to 5 times a day and not look like you're being bombarded. With Facebook, what I like to do with Facebook, I post once every 2 days or something like that. And the reason why I do that is I don't want to bombard them. I don't want them to, because what happens if you start putting too much, people end up dropping off. You have to know what the platform is that you're working on. With Twitter, I can put up to 5 posts a day, not worry about people dropping off, as long as I'm adding value. If I do that with Facebook, people are going to drop off. Same thing with Instagram. If I do that with Instagram, people will drop off. So you can use links with the pictures that you're putting in. You can use hashtags. You can create a target list, which I love, and I'll show you that in a little bit. You can retweet your target list. I actually love doing that. A retweet. Like I had a cast director. I didn't put that picture in here, but I had a cast director. I've been going at her back and forth, connecting with her, and what happened is she actually retweeted. I retweeted her, and then she retweeted me, and we went go back and forth doing that. So I'm building a connection with her, so she sees as she starts seeing me. So when it comes to opportunity, when she's casting something, I send her a message. Hey, you know, can I come in for this? Automatically, it's going to be. I believe it's going to be a yes. And the reason why I say that is because I'm doing the work to build a rapport. Because people are going to call in the people that they know. They're not going to call if they don't know you. They're not going to call you. You know. So if she knows me, she's going to call me. And you can listen to your audience. And what I mean by that is when you have the target list, you can actually see what your target list is doing as far as a post. So you can start listening to what your target list is doing. So with the real estate, you got the bio section. You got basically the location because you can geo track this, and then you got the website that you can put in the link, and that's basically when it comes to Twitter. But with your bio, you want to establish your authority, you want to convey what you do, you want to have a call to action, and you can use hashtags, place URLs in the bio, and I would also use Bitly to shorten that URL. And you can announce launches. Keep it simple and to the point. Before I do that, I want to show you, give me 2 seconds, let me show you, so here's basically with Twitter. And what I mean by that is like, you see, lead and convicted now on Amazon Prime. Want to learn more? I do the same thing on here. Now, what I want to show you is that if I can go into my lists, and I have different lists, and I keep them locked because I don't want nobody going into my list. But I have certain people that I'm looking at that I'm targeting. So if I go into this and I look at the targets that I'm looking for, they show up. And all the people that I have on my list, I see all they post, and I can see what they're talking about and listen to. Basically, that's what I mean by listening to what they're saying, so that way I can look and understand what's going on in the industry or going on with them, instead of actually having to go through filter through all of the posts that's coming up. Because I have the list, I can go ahead and do that. And have you used Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you know how to create a list?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, and you can go in and you can always add different people to the list, which is great. And with that, like for example, I got casting agents that I'm looking at that I'm trying to get at. You want to build this list, and give me 2 seconds. Ooh, sorry about that. All right. So you want to build that list because those are your target audience. So you want to look at, yeah. See, I look at casting directors, I look at agents, I look at directors, I look at producers, see what they're talking about, So I can, and if I'm looking at what they love and what they're talking about, then I can start gearing, structuring my post to target them strategically. So
Mm-hmm.
that way I can make sure that I start building rapport with them, retweet them, and different things like that. So I can build that relationship with them. And then when it comes time for them, if they're working on a project, then we can work on a project together. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do that, but if I build a rapport, they may recommend me to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Okay. So when it comes to your social media, you have to know that you're basically telling a story. And what's great about it is we're actors and we tell stories. So I want to give you the 7 elements of storytelling. The first one is the desire or the need that the character has. Then there's the problem or the obstacle that they get. Then they get the opponent, who's the antagonist. And then they create a plan, and then they have a battle, and then they come to a self-revelation in the story, basically ends at that point. Um, to where it comes to an equilibrium, and then it's boom, you've resolved everything. So with that said, is this is how you want to start looking at your posts. Your posts that you're starting to do, and you want to look at your desire, for example, your desire to be an actor. You can, an easy one to do is take people on a journey. Come on my journey with me to be an actor. So you're sharing a lot of stuff that shows them your struggle, and it's, a lot of people don't like I want to share my life, but it's the thing is you want to you share things that's going to actually show them you working towards your goal to become an actor, because everybody wants to see someone going through and making it as an actor. We always hear about the people, like Kevin Hart. If you don't read his book, you don't know the struggles that he went through. You didn't know that he was broke trying to make it across the country to do a show and didn't have no money to get to go do the show. You wouldn't know that unless you read his book. But today, and at the time when he did that, they didn't have what we have now. Today we have social media. So you could share your story, and as you share your story, people start to connect and relate with your story, and you build an audience that way. So again, the desire becomes the driving force behind the main character's behavior. The problem is, then there's, the problem is a need that the character is not fulfilling. Yet the character usually focus on his or her desire and not their real need. And what I mean by that is, you want to show, okay, so I want to be an actor. I want to struggle as an actor. But I'm focused on that, but I'm not focused on what I need, so I can make sure that I show up as an actor. Because most people, they're fighting to try to be an actor and they don't know what they need to show up. Mm-hmm. You got your opponent. There are 3 types of opponents, and these are the opponents that you're going to be facing. One is the external opponent. So as an actor trying to become an actor, there's a lot of stuff that's going to come at you that is going to keep you from, whether it's not having a job, or whether it's, not knowing where I'm going to stay, being homeless. There's an actor that I'm looking at interview, and he went through from being homeless to being an actor. Then there's the intimate opponent, which could be, your significant other or your child. I mean, for me, when I first came to New York, my daughter went into depression. So dealing with that, it's an intimate. I had to think about it. Like, do I stay here? Do I go back? And it was a big challenge, a big decision for me to make at that point. Um, then there's the internal one, which is basically, can I do this? Am I good enough? And so on. Those are the 3 opponents that you're going to be facing. And showing that with your social media, choosing which one you want to show. I mean, I would say be as transparent as possible, because then what happens, it captures the people, because everyone's going through certain things that we're going through. So you and you want to remember, the bigger the opponent, the bigger the hero. So okay, so then the character, they develop a plan to deal with the opponent so they can move forward. And again, when you're doing these posts, you start showing your resolutions. That's your plan. You have this internal battle that you can have. You have this battle with your significant other, whatever the battle is. I'll give you an example of this in a little bit after. So self-elevation, the character experienced self-revelation and fulfillment of his or her need. Self-revelation can be in the form of a new belief, new values, or new character traits. So, you get to a certain point where now I think at this level. I've moved up to a different level of thinking, and this helps me with my act. Or I now know this as an actor, or I hold this value. Um, then there's equilibrium with the character develops a new belief system, new value, a new character trait, and his or her life returns to what we want to consider balance, which never really is. But let's say you've reached a certain point, like right now, you don't have, you're not established as an actor, but there's going to be one day that you wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and say, yes, I have arrived. I am an actor. And a lot of people don't do that, or they didn't get to do that because they haven't gone through that. So this is the type of stuff that you want to share with your social media, because you're telling the story and you want to create that story. And this is how you're going to get the people to follow you, because as you start showing your story and sharing your story, they connect with it, or your tribe will connect with it. That's what I mean by that. So I'll give you an example. There's a movie called True Lies. True Lies, you see um, this Arnold Schwarzenegger. So in the first beginning of the movie, you see him do these crazy stuff. He's established as a spy. He comes in, he's gonna go steal this disc, and he steals the disc from the bad guys. And in the middle of the whole thing, when the bad guys realize he's stealing this, they come in to try to get him. And what he does is he then, in the middle of that whole thing, he dances with the woman, and they do the waltz or whatever it's called. And then he jumps out of a window and he makes his escape. He kills a couple of bad guys as he makes his escape, and then he goes and delivers the files that he had stolen. And then next scene is you see him at home. And so here's this guy who wants to save the world. You see him at home, and when he was at home, we meet his opponents. You say, first we got the external opponents, you got the bad guys that you met. Then you meet his intimate opponents, which is his wife and his daughter. His daughter is like gothic, and he's got these spy cam. He sees the daughter steals. She asks him for money. He says no. Then she steals the money out of his pocket. He sees it through a video camera that he has. And he tries to chase her. She hops on the motorcycle with the boyfriend, and they take off, and he can't catch her. And this is the guy that just killed a bunch of people and just did some crazy stuff, and he can't deal with the intimate opponent, which is his wife and daughter. And so then we start noticing that he has. I just want to go back. So we've established the desire. He wants to save the world. The problem the problem with it. The movie's called True Lies because he's lying in one life. He's the one thing he's doing. So the problem is he's not being honest with himself or honest with his opponents, which is his intimate opponent, which is his wife and his daughter. He's not being honest with them. And then so he develops a plan to basically try to solve this, because one of his opponent is his wife, and his wife, he thinks his wife is cheating because she's having these secret meetings, and he's like, oh, what's going on? So he develops a plan. He's going to catch her cheating, and he uses the U.S. Forces, U.S. money to spy on his wife. And his wife goes to go meet this guy who's supposed to be a car salesman who's trying to have sex with her wife, and he goes and he catches them, and he puts his wife into this interrogation room, and he starts trying to interrogate her, and she's going crazy. And then finally she gets to the point where she yells at him, and the truth comes out, and then he realizes he's the one that's been lying to his wife. And then just the moment when that happens, bad guys break in, they get kidnapped, and they find themselves tied up. And the wife thinks it's because of her, and it's actually because of him. And so then he has to have this battle, which his wife helps him, and he goes through. So he's already starting to have that self-revelation, but then his wife sticks with him, and he has his battle. He kills all the bad guys and saves his wife, and Then after he's done that, he comes to the realization he has to be honest with his wife. Now his wife knows what the truth is, and he knows what all the truth is. And the last scene is you see his daughter. She's all changed mysteriously. She's now no longer gothic, and him and his wife. There's a call that comes in. The equilibrium. Him and his wife she picks up the phone. They go on a mission, and you see them dancing the waltz, and boom, the movie ends. This movie is the worst movie ever, but because it follows this story line, everyone that you say, hey, you know the movie True Lies, they know the movie True Lies. Arnold's the worst actor that I can think of, but you know what? He's successful, and this movie followed that, and it made him a lot of money. It made the producers a lot of money. So I share this with you because I'm saying to you is that you can actually take this formula and start using it on your social media and creating. And it's going to take some planning. It's going to take some time for you to think about the post, think about what you're going to be posting, think about the truth post, and then start structuring it and telling these stories and keeping it. And you're going to refine it as you go along, but I guarantee you that you start building your audience, and you start connecting with the right people that you're looking to connect with, which is with my goal with this is that you're connecting with producers and directors, and you want to build a community of actors. So you have actors friends that, like, I always recommend other actors to different projects, and I have no problem with that because I believe in abundance. I believe there's always going to be different projects out there for all of us out there. There's enough, but I also believe that the more people you help, the more you help yourself. And what I mean by that is I always have people recommend me for certain things, and the reason that they've done that is because in the past I've recommended them, and sometimes it doesn't come from the same person. It comes from someone else that you didn't even expect. They recommend you for something. Like Convicted, I got recommended by somebody else for the project, not someone that I helped get into a project. Which, again, I believe in what you put out there comes back to you tenfold. So that's why I believe in doing that. So with that said, you want to start thinking about what's your story. You want to write your story. So what's the story of your life? What has it been so far? What will a new story be? So, because you got to look at where you've been, what you've been doing as far as with the post, how you've been living your life. What has that story been so far? Look at that, and then start looking at what's the story going to be now. It's going to be a tragedy that becomes a comedy, a romance that's an adventure, an epic, a horror picture, a love story, or an action flick. You want to start looking at that and say, what's the story of my life? What do I want it to be? And then you want to convey that on your social media. And I'm not asking for you to fictitiously create one, because I always hear the story like, well, what they post on social media is not real, it's fake. I believe in being transparent, vulnerable, and truthful, because what they see there is what they get. The side effect from this is that you'll get people that believe that they know you, and they don't know you 100%. They'll start talking to you, and you're like, oh, whoa. And it's the same thing like when you start doing film projects, people come in and start talking to you like they already know you, and you're like, oh, okay, how do I know you? It's a great thing to have, but what I'm sharing this with you so that way you can start building a relationship, the relationship that we are going to move into next week, which is going to be talking about how to get in touch with directors, directors, producers, um, casting directors, agents, managers. That's what we're going to be looking at. So, what emotions, that if you had these emotions, if you add it to it, will actually fuel and create a new story for you. You want to think about that. What emotions you want to experience on the make, and add that in. And then you want to pick 4 of those emotions that would, excuse me, transform your entire life and make it extraordinary, different. You want to look at, for example, like I said, I have an accountability partner. Each day we always choose something to how we want to feel that day and be at cause about that. And you want to start looking at that, what emotions that I want to add into, that I want to create. And when you look at these emotions, you also want to look at these emotions are emotions that I want my audience to go through. So what's going to happen for you this week is you want to look hard at how your life has been and what you want for your life right now, so you can start actually conveying that on the social media.